Hello friends, today we're here to talk about performance-based identity. As an athlete, you are celebrated for all of your tenacity, your drive, your winning nature. But there are many who actually attach their identity to all of that. They attach their identity to these outcomes, and that identity is there to please other people. So they've got this idea that if I'm performing well, then I'm a good athlete. But what happens if you fumble the ball, if you miss a goal, if something else happens, you make a mistake, and now you're kind of frowned upon? That then hits you harder because of this identity is to your performance. And so in today's session, we're going to actually talk about how you overcome that, especially when it comes to the world of business. When you move, when you evolve from sports to business, you're going to want the same drive. You're going to want the same idea of performing at your best. But the question is, who are you performing for? If you are constantly performing for other people, which can be the case much of the time, sales is performing to a sales quota, you're performing for your clients because they've got a deadline or whatever. So I get that, but there's a little mental switch that gets the performance more focused on you and your abilities. So to start this process, we need to do a personal inventory. What strengths have you got? What weaknesses have you got? What are your flaws? What are your blind spots? It's this idea of understanding and knowing who you are. And then it's the concept of, well, where are you going? What are you gonna do with your life? Sports is great. It's given you the identity. It's given you drive, purpose, meaning. But beyond that, what comes next? What's your bigger purpose? What is an underlying question that you are subconsciously asking that that's coming out in your actions? And so I'll explain this. If I've got a problem with performance-based identity, I'm asking the question, am I good enough? How can I prove myself? How can I get more people to appreciate my performance? Do you get that? I'm subconsciously asking that question, and then my actions are there pleasing the fans or pleasing other people. So I'm actually performing for someone else other than me. If we shifted that question to how do I give my best, now it's less of a performance-based identity and more of a self-based identity. How can I give my best today? How does this transition to the business world? Well, if I'm there in the business world going, how can I please that client? How can I please my boss? How can I please my partner? How can I external, right? If I'm constantly asking that, then again, I'm transitioning my performance-based identity. But if I can actually ask a bigger question on how can I best serve my clients, now that's an internal question, because how can I best serve, right, is can I bring my best self forward and my strengths. To give you an example, I've grown up with a performance-based identity. It's how can I prove myself? Everywhere I've gone, it's how can I prove myself? I was in sales and I would work really hard to hit all of the numbers, hit all of the targets, hit all of the sales goals and win competitions and all that sort of stuff. But it was to prove myself to other people, not to prove myself to me. I've been sitting with this question for some time now on what is the underlying question that I am asking myself that shows up in my actions. And now I'm asking, how can I help others become their best self? How can I learn more content so I can deliver that content to help others? So it's all about me working to become my best self, so then I can help people like you and help you become your best self. So less about what I'm doing externally to please other people, and much more about how I'm going to work on myself to then help other people. So that gives you an idea of where we're going to this. Take some time to think about, reflect on what is your underlying question, what's digging away at you subconsciously that you might not be aware of. And because you're not aware of it, it's coming out in your actions. This is not a simple task. You've got to sit with it and look at your actions, maybe even ask some other people. They might be able to see it more than you do, but that's the idea. You get the concept. Ask what is the underlying question. Look at your performance-based identity. As an athlete, are you performing to please other people? Because if you are, that's going to transition into your work life, and then you'll always just be working to please others and not performing at your best. It's a challenge, but it's a challenge worth taking on. So performance-based identity, what is it? How can you solve it? If you need help with this, please reach out to me. mpbcoaching.com, type right-hand corner is schedule a call. You can always join the Warrior of Change program, where we look to examine all of this content really deeply in one-on-one sessions or in group sessions to really help you understand how you can be your best self and step boldly into your brilliance, because you are brilliant. Thank you very much for listening. Catch you next week.